evening! I welcome each and every one of you to another lovely Saturday with automation, as usual, and Automation Hub Television. And I see Pleb already has found his way into the stream, so I'm actually going to refrain from calling you Pleb. I'm going to call you Aaron. I like the name much better, to be honest. Let me take this little walking text here off. We don't need it anymore. So tonight we are gonna play Car Tycoon again, meaning we are speaking about Garneau automobile and the very far-reaching effects of the oil crisis. Now, many of you, including myself, of course, we were all born at least 10 years after that. The oil crisis took place in actually 1973. Perhaps Jacko remembers. But hey, Jacko, anyway. And the oil crisis was actually triggered by, what's it called, the Yom Kippur War, and all the states back then that were getting the oil out of the ground, let's say like all the members of the OPEC, they decided to use their power that they had, undoubtedly, because they were the keeper of the oil, to use that power and lower the amount of oil that was being, what's the word, taken from the ground. And therefore causing the price per barrel to almost quadruple. So I think the price was at about $3 per barrel before November 1973, and afterwards it raised, well, in the end it reached even a high of I think $12 per barrel. So if you put that in comparison, actually let me look that up real quick. Today we have a price per barrel of about, where is it? Gonna be somewhere. Okay, here the oil price is at about $69 per barrel. So to put that in comparison, and the price was way higher before. We had about $110 about half a year ago. So the price has dropped, in fact, now. But if we put it in perspective, if the price today would quadruple, we would have to pay, all the countries would have to pay about, what is it, let's say 70 by 4 would be $280 per barrel. That means all the countries along, the United Arab Emirates, Russia, and all the countries that actually sell oil on the market would clap their hands and be glad, at least for a short time. Anyhow, this oil crisis, and hello Leonardo, this oil crisis had very far-reaching effects for all the countries that had to, buy oil from the market, which every country did already back in 1973, obviously. And because, for example, in Germany, it meant for the year that they had to invest about, what was it, 17 billion German mark back then, more, just for oil. That is a huge amount of money, and that was a problem for all the countries in the world that were depending on the oil. So as for Germany, for example, I do not remember it myself, of course, but it was even the fact that the government decided to keep the cars from driving on the road completely on, I think, a few consecutive Saturdays or Sundays in the end of 1973. So no cars were allowed to drive because they were desperately trying to force people to save petrol, to save oil. And, well, I mean, obviously it was needed for heating, but they didn't want people to use it to drive their car. That didn't work. That didn't have any effect on the usage of oil. Then they tried to set speed limits for the highways for about 100 kilometers per hour. and 80 kilometers per hour for other roads, like overland roads, whatever. And that didn't work either. So then they tried to, you know, there was a completely new philosophy born, a philosophy to save energy, which was something they didn't really bother about before, any country, in fact. And now they were forced to, and as it happens, when it is too late, you know, people start come up with ideas, and so all the countries were suddenly about saving money. Now, what this means for, of course, a car manufacturer like Garneau, it would mean that all the cars that came out before, including this one we're looking at right now, the Garneau Violet, or Violet, that it was completely past the development of the market. This car actually had an i6 engine, 236 horsepower, and it was way too strong, and most importantly, it was in comparison, 9.24 liters per 100 kilometers is rather economical, in fact, for such a strong car. But it is something that would not have worked in 1973, in conclusion of this oil crisis. So, what we're going to do tonight is we are going to try to build a car, because Garneau was desperately trying to save their asses and their necks and everything, is trying to build a very economical car, which was not easy in the 70s because you didn't have multi-channel injection or anything like that. You were still forced to rely on the carburetors, and they were not that economical with fuel, but we all know that. We all play automation well enough to know that. So this car exactly came out in 1973. So let's make another one. But before I actually start with this, and let me go back to the year now, let's say 75, because it takes a while to, of course, develop all these things, and maybe even 76. 75 or 76, I'm not sure. This or that or this. And I see my stream is buffering. Why is my stream buffering? It shouldn't be buffering at all. Okay, now it stopped buffering. Very nice. Welcome back, everyone. What was I going to say? I was going to say that we are going to make a car in 1976, because obviously it takes a car manufacturer a while to react on this development and to come up with a new car. So 76, we want to make it lightweight, obviously. Suddenly the environment did play a role. Front-wheel drive, I guess front-wheel drive. Person strut, because we want to save some money. Semi-trailing arm in the back. And there you go. Now, panel material was steel, I would say, because everything else would be too expensive. Perhaps. Now, we already have available this little fucker right here, which of course reminds us of the first Volkswagen Golf. I mean, nobody can deny that. It looks like that. Maybe a bit bigger, but nonetheless. And I want to try if I can maybe make this not look like a Golf. Maybe there's a way. So perhaps we start with the back. Actually, no. Before I actually start trimming this thing into something else, I want to speak about something else. And that would be, as some of you have noticed, perhaps, that AutomationHub is currently in the beta testing status. Which means, logically, when you have something in a beta status, that soon there is going to be a release candidate or a release version or finished version, whatever you want to call it. Now that is the same with AutomationHub. So very soon you all can enjoy all the pleasures that the site is going to offer you, like creating your own car company and showing it off to the world and to all of us, of course, who love automation already. But there's more than that, of course. It will also be a, what do you call it? Let's say it's going to be a place for all your automation needs. Now that sounds too much like marketing, but what I mean, of course, is you will find not only latest news and the latest updates about automation on AutomationHub, you will also find all this nice stuff that is created by this awesome community that we are, by all those talented people that are way more talented than I ever will be, perhaps, and they just bring out cool stuff after cool stuff after cool stuff, including Aaron actually, and including Bart, Wizzy the Man, who are both very good, talented at creating all those fixtures that they have brought out already. And all these new guys that show up that I've never heard of before, you know, with all these amazing models that they come up with. I'm very much looking forward to that. And this will all be in a central place in AutomationHub to be found very soon. Perhaps in, let's say, about 2 weeks, maybe less. It is probably, depending on how many bug fixes need to be done, it is going to be finished. And as I can see, we have right now 4 people on chat, not that much. Maybe some of you are going out, maybe some of you are spending this evening getting closer to Christmas with a family. Nah, come on, who does that? I don't know. But I do notice that nothing has appeared in my chat for 8 minutes. And I'm thinking this is weird, because usually that happens a lot more often. I am thinking if I should refresh my dashboard here. Let's see if that's better. You're saying it lags sometimes? Okay, let me check really quick what my connection does to make sure that it's not me. Let's see. Well, it does buffer sometimes on my little preview window here. Let's say every minute or so. But I cannot find fault in my connection. My connection is pretty okay. So I'm thinking it might be Twitch. Well, we're just going to continue anyway. And try to make this look like something that is not a golf. A bit bigger. Well, it does look not like a golf. What you guys can, of course, try is just refresh the stream from time to time. And otherwise, there's not really much I can do. I have a quite good upload setting right now, so it should prevent any buffering. I don't know. It is Saturday after all, and Twitch, you know, we all know sometimes Twitch has its little hiccups. We're just gonna see how it continues. Oh, Leonardo, are you again somewhere else? Doing something else? And therefore not watching, just listening? I can safely say this already looks not like a Golf, because it looks bigger. First of all, the rear end looks bigger, and the front is a bit more, well, fancy, I guess we can say. But it's not 76 after all, so not too fancy. Like this is fine. Yes, he is. How are you doing anyway, you guys? Are you all excited for Christmas? Or do you not care? Or do you perhaps not celebrate Christmas due to religious beliefs? Or you look forward to Hanukkah or any other religious happening that comes around this time of the year that we are looking forward to? Well, look at these small details down here. We can make it disappear, but that looks kind of weird. Or doesn't it? Actually, it doesn't look that weird. How does that look? That looks more like a Golf, I would say. Smaller is better. Okay, time for a color change. Let's make this one a bit less colorful. Again, the idea would be to save money on not too fancy colors, because that will cost more money also for the buyer. And like I explained, this is all about being economical. Ah, so that's a two-sided sword. You get to meet the family and spend time with them, but then again, there's this family that you have to be around. I can see how that can suck. I mean, families are something that can be or is very important, but sometimes we have our little differences, as it happens always in life. Perhaps even sometimes, especially around Christmas. People not really being happy with their gifts, or not being happy with the general situation after all, overall. Okay. Now, of course, we have to bear in mind also that Garneau, as being a bigger part of the whole car market situation, knows about Volkswagen's plans to bring this small economical car on the market. So what the son of Albert Garneau, François, what's his name? François, is thinking is that it would be surely a good idea to kind of copy, as we see, the shape, and kind of copy the idea of being economical, but of course keeping the spirit of Garneau in the car. And that would mean, first of all, that it should be well designed, and secondly, of course, that it would still offer enough quality for the buyers and for families too. I mean, after all, this does offer enough place for a family in the back, and even for the groceries in the trunk. But now we have to put some fancy fixtures on it. And something 70 like. I know what I'll do. Let's use a vent. And perhaps even this. But then perhaps turn it around. A bit smaller. Okay, let's see what this is gonna do. Because we do need some kind of indicator to indicate that we're not going the same way as we do before. Bam. Say that should do. Is it a bit of an artistic look? Perhaps. But now the headlights. And the question would be whether they should be round or square. Or perhaps even both. What would that look like? One square in the corner. Kind of like this. And then a smaller one here. Right about here. It's always difficult to guess how much space you're going to need once you make them actually smaller. So perhaps I'm just going to do it outside. It will be easier. It should be okay. And you can always expand them. It's not a problem. How does that look like? I think it looks kind of unique. A mustache? Well, it's not a French. It's not a French baguette baker, you know. It's still a car. Not sure how a mustache would look on it. Wait, and what is in Lyon right now, Leonardo? What is going on there? Okay, the grill. The grill? What do we do with the grill? Oh, actually, yeah, right. Now that I'm on stream, does anybody else have ever seen this mistake? This Lua error happening? I have not changed anything, but since about a week, I'm getting this Lua error, and I have no idea what it should be. I mean, obviously I can copy it, but just I don't know why it suddenly appeared, and not before, because I didn't install any new fixtures or anything after that, or before. Well, not, well, longer before, in fact, maybe a week. So perhaps something classic. It will not need much cooling because it will have a very small engine. Well, yeah, you mentioned that, but what would be the reason to be there right now? Especially, is it because, you know, before Christmas it is especially nice there, or the weather, which probably is going to be cold, but nonetheless, I mean, it has a certain charm to it, of course. We want this type of grill only, or do we want something else along with it? Let's see. Have this. What do we do with this? Whoop-de-doo. That looks... perhaps it does look too modern, yeah. In a way. Fête des Lumières. Okay. And seeing pictures that my friends send, I just wish I were there. I can relate to that. I can relate to wishing to be in another place, in a very different place than you are now. Definitely. Perhaps you gonna get to go there next year again. Okay, let's check what it looks like with a badge in it. Okay, now I'm wondering what badge did we usually use for Garneau? I don't remember. I think we used this one and then flipped it around. Guess that's what we did. Let's see. It does look different for sure. (2016), early 2017. Well, that is not that long to go. Oh my. What am I gonna do with this? I'm not satisfied with the front. Something else here. Perhaps this one too bigger. And this in the middle. That looks at least more French. And these small. Higher. Not too high. Okay. Let's put a set of round fog lights down here. Or maybe no fog lights. The fog lights are actually included in the headlights up here. Again, thinking economical. But I'm not liking this, it's too round. Perhaps another one. Perhaps something like this. It looks a bit sad. Something happier. Happy faces, everyone. Ah, again this lure error. Damn it. And again, every time I go down, it happens. I don't know why. What about this, actually? What does this look like? Is that still the 70s or is it too much 80s already? Thinking yes. Yes, it is. Smaller. You get that error too? Okay. That is somewhat comforting. Means I'm not alone. Well, that looks too much of everything. It's to be wider. Now this I could live with. Okay, let's leave it like this for now and focus on the rear end of the car. Also, there's not going to be any chrome on the sides because, again, the economical idea is what is in the focus for this car. And I don't think it would be appropriate to have the car look like it's very, very expensive when it is aiming to be not cheap, but, you know, price worthy. I think that's a good way to put it. Perhaps we can do something similar for the rear. Go around a bit here and cut it off. Now it needs to be there, of course. Perhaps even all the way here. Marking exactly where the trunk begins and the rear ends, or the other way around. Plastic. Plastic on the side. Plastic does, you know, plastic is made of oil too. So it was, I don't know if that's really, it would be like laughing in their faces, you know? It would be like, hey, we still have plastic. So screw you. Ah, well. Yeah, we do have these event thingies, I know. We'll see if we can use them. Let me focus on the rear lights first. And they should be not round, I think. Yeah. This. And then the badge somewhere in the middle. Or maybe it's a minor detail. Now I do want an indicator here kind of going around, but I know already it will be too big. Now put them here, small. Small but not too small. And like that. Try to wrap it around without causing the universe to implode. Yeah, that totally worked out fine. No, okay. Sure. It's too short. Yeah. That's a pity. I was hoping I could somehow wrap them around the corner here. It would look very fancy. Actually means I don't have to make it that big. But then maybe it will work. I think it just doesn't really correspond with the car shape. It could be. Come on, shrink! Better shrink. There is no other way. Okay, why is it doing this? I don't want it to do this. Stop! No, indicator, stop! Different approach. How about we just use pre-made ones, like a set, and then say we bought them cheap from, I don't know, Mercedes perhaps, not sure. Something old-fashioned. These are still old-fashioned. Boom. Now wrap them around the corner. Wrap them some more. Okay, they don't want to. I see. And back with the wrapping. That is very simple. Very, very simple. Let's put it back in the middle. And let's try that plastic on the side thing. That would be plastic and a square shape because it's still the 70s. Perhaps down here would be a good place. Kind of like a protection. For most of the door, you know, against these nasty little stones that come up from the roads. Should work. Not the same size, a bit bigger. Can it lower? No, that's too low. That does it. Okay. In the front we already have this. And on the rear we do not really need it. We have this one too, this little rear bumper. So what we do need is an exhaust. And when we have the exhaust, we of course do need signs on the back, because now we can do that. Because people from the automation community are awesome. And all this stuff you're gonna find soon on AutomationHub too, of course. So whenever you're thinking, hey, I could use something new for my automation, just go to automation.net, automationhub.net even, and then look for it on the download section. It's gonna be there and not gonna be square. Something like that. Leonardo, what is the French word for economical? Or I look it up myself because I'm not sure. Because they don't have an umlaut for it, so perhaps they use an E2. Economy? Economy? I think it is economy, but I would want to ask the French expert. Because what I have in mind is put an E here, right about here, move it around. Économique. Okay. Smaller and not weird. Okay. And then a plus for expressing that it is extra economical. Kind of like that. And I already know what this car is going to be called. But I still don't like the front, actually. I'm still thinking of changing it to something else. I think this big grille that goes all the way around the front is very much 70s like, but the headlights are not. So we're gonna crash automation. That's what we're gonna do. Oh, Wizzy is whispering to me that actually downloads will be implemented later, but nonetheless, the concept of the website is, of course, to have the downloads on the page as well. And I'm gonna have to restart automation, and I didn't save the car, so we're gonna have to start from scratch. Isn't that lovely? Ha! And actually, while the game is loading, I will be right back. All right, and we are back. And I am kind of liking this much better than the headlights we had before. It is kind of the same idea, but different. You are catching my drift. And I think it's safe to say that fog lights are kind of included here. Kind of. Perhaps they should be a bit wider. I am a bit undecided about that. I'll move them a bit. Like this. And move this up again. It looks interesting. What do I think of this? I think this looks like a very dangerous rear end of a car with extremely wide tires. That's what I think. And the double wing makes it look very fast. That's what I would think. Is that one of your creations, Leonardo? Is it just me actually, or the car looks a bit Italian? I'm not sure. Anyhow, we need perhaps a small set of fog lights. The small ones. They barely do anything even for fog, but at least they're there. That's the main thing. Actually, the headlights are a bit big. Okay, this is better. Ooh, oh, that's too much. You're clipping otherwise. Send to the forums as one of your own car company cars or for a car tycoon challenge. Well, okay, one of the many challenges in the forum. Let's put it that way. We had plastic here on the side. I think we're going to keep that as a protection. But people won't have to replace the whole door if they have a scratch in it. Kind of like this. It's too far. Is that the same size exactly? Yeah, almost. Now it is. Okay. Now the rear end. Yet again. Have this in the front, so we need the same in the back. There are not any interesting forum challenges, you think? I think the actual Car Tycoon challenge right now, number 6 if I'm not mistaken, is very challenging, at least. I mean, whether it's interesting or not is always in the eye of the beholder, but it is for sure very challenging, without a doubt. And there was also another challenge that dealt with touring cars. I think it was you who did that. Touring cars from kind of the year 1997, 1998, somewhere in the 90s. That also looked very interesting to build, well, at least an engine for it. I do not know how it is about designing a car for that, but the engine would be a challenge for sure. An interesting one. It's a bit too big. This is better. Okay. Now the taillights. Well, I haven't gotten around to make a car yet. That's the only point. I think I'm going to, yes. But first I need to do some other things, and then when there's time left, I can think of making a car. First I need to find headlights now. Adding headlights. Oh, that's ugly. Oh my god, that's ugly. That is really ugly. Did I mention that it's really ugly? Because it is really ugly. But this at least matches the shape. Now I need to zoom in and make sure that it goes around far enough. Yeah, when it turns pink, then it is a bit too far. It stays pink one no matter what. Okay then. Fine. We'll leave it at that. Oh, alright, Aaron. Yeah, it sucks with Twitch tonight, but I mean, we just gotta get through it somehow. Have a good night, Aaron. I'll talk to you tomorrow, at least. For sure soon. And yeah, I'm thinking it needs to be smaller. Oh, why can I not? It won't let me pull it up? Really? Really now? Okay. I see how it is. It's fine. We just need an exhaust. And now we're getting to the point where the game crashed last time. And I would not want to repeat that again. I think it happened when I was trying to get the letters on the car, wasn't it? Or what was that? No, wait, I was trying to change something. And then it broke. I was trying to move something, which I probably shouldn't have tried, and then it crashed. Right. It's a bit better. More cosmetic changes can improve so much. Okay, we need door handles here too. First, let me put that economical back. Which, of course, I mean, we all have seen these type of marketing strategies on modern cars where they try to, you know, really point out how very economical their car is. For the 70s, that was a new thing because nobody really bothered how much gas a car needed before the oil crisis. So I'm thinking that Garneau is really taking kind of a futuristic role here and really sets an example. At least in our little car tycoon fantasy here. No, not like that. Plus, but actually the plus should not be on both sides. And it's really tricky. As much as I love these new signs we can put on the back, I remember when I tried it, I tried to spell a really long word. I don't even know what word I tried to spell. It was rather long. I had at least 6 letters in it. And when I was finished, and I had them all carefully aligned, I actually noticed that I had them mirrored on the other side all the time. And then I just erased the whole word again. There was no point in keeping them. So it's a bit tricky, but it's great that we have them nonetheless, because it makes the car look just better. Just better than other cars. Okay. This is gonna be the Garneau. Lily. Lily, because Lily sounds like a small woman, and also because it sounds sort of economical. Wait, actually I need to a bit. They are having a bit of a weird angle. Like this is better. Okay, this can definitely count as a 70s car. And now the engine. Now, of course, we are going for small, lightweight, which is why we use aluminium. Actually, that is a question. We did, of course, have an engine for the, let me recall, not the Violet. Let me check, in fact. Let me go here, choose engine. Where was that one? I think it was this one. Oh no, that's a... Is that the one? ID 1984? No, I think it wasn't. There's another one. Let me scroll, let me scroll, let me scroll. Perhaps this one. That one. Yeah. So I think we should make an engine based on this one and then try to change it to something else. Let's revise the engine. Okay. This is what we have. This is what we're working with. Of course, 121 horsepower would be way too much. Our orientation would be the Volkswagen Golf again. And I think the first version of that car had 52 or 55 horsepower. Because just at that time, there was no other way to achieve this kind of economy without making big compromises. The technology was just not that far yet. But of course, also it was the beginning of the development for this type of technology that we already benefited from in the late 80s, when the cars successively became more and more economic. So first thing I think we're gonna do, I'm gonna take a look at this here. Wow. I think Bart made this engine. He made a very big stroke engine. It is very tricky to build, actually. But we're gonna change it to aluminium first. Then we're gonna 1.4 liters, maybe. Let's see what that gets us. Forged steel is okay. Though actually, cast iron, no. Forged steel is better. I-beam steel or forged? Actually, I-beam steel is cheaper. Amazing. Let's use it one. Forged is okay, I think. I mean, emission reduction is not that important yet and would be a bit too much anyway. The quality we're gonna leave. I mean, the materials have not really changed, so that's okay. And do we change the valves maybe to 3? Let's see. We'll just try it out. I think my chat has frozen again. I'm gonna refresh the dashboard real quick. Of course, the cam profile is way too high. I'm gonna go for something lower, like 35. It also will mean we need to lower the compression, maybe to 8.5. And lower the quality to +2 here. Naturally aspirated stays the same. And yeah, carburetor. Injection, of course, is out of the question. I think 4-barrel will do, because DCOE is way too expensive for this kind of car. Okay, and it will not be super leaded because that was kind of hard to come by at the time, so we're gonna go for regular unleaded, so that we have catalytic converters available. Means also the fuel mixture is going to become a lot more lean. Ignition timing is going to become a lot more retarded, and the RPM limit is going to be lower as well. And not tubular, but perhaps short cast. But no, it's actually cheaper with tubular. Okay. Yeah, I think that should do. Reverse flow, rather expensive. Let's go for straight through. And no special quality here. Let's see. Well, we have saved about 32 kilogram of weight. We still reach easily 70 horsepower. That is good. But now the question is, what does the economy say? 19.56. And it's actually knocking. Okay. Then I guess less compression. But the engine is cheap. It is quick to produce, but it still offers enough utility drive, even now. 69.8, and we're not knocking anymore. Which means better economy, even. I would even say that it's still a bit too powerful, because 70 horsepower is quite much. I do not know about the drivability, of course. With this type of torque, it starts very, very low, really, really low. I mean, barely 70 Newton meters. Maybe that's not enough. Dun dun dun. What can we do here? We have some space to raise the ignition timing to 50 again. Perhaps. Yeah, that worked out just fine. and even has improved the drivability a little bit. Let's see if it gives us any trouble. No, everything looks fine. Engine revs a bit too high still for my taste. Oops. Whoopsie daisy. Okay. Lost a bit of power, exactly what I wanted. But we did gain some reliability. Not much. 0.2 points. What else could we do? We could... I mean, it is a 1.4 liter engine right now. In fact, 1.5. No, it still counts as 1.4. If we go a bit lower with the stroke. Oh, okay. It only made it a bit cheaper. What I actually do like about this engine, it is exceptionally smooth for a 4-cylinder engine. It is quite amazing. 61.4 smoothness. That is huge. Well, okay, we have 16 horsepower. We have a decent economy, but, and there's always a but, it could be better. 14.5. Now let's see. Have to probably go higher with the camshaft. Still knocking. Then we go a little bit more retarded, just to keep the engine from knocking. So what did that do? We saved a bit on material costs, of course. We have the same reliability. We have the torque line is not exactly better. No, that was not really worth it. That was not worth it. 0.6. And I think we're at 50 at least. Right, and the fuel mixture. All right, I think this is fine. SV16 minus 1700. What exactly does that stand for? Is 1700 probably could have been the CC, but SV16, I'm not sure. Bart, can you help me out? What does that stand for? And I'm guessing I'm gonna put into 4000 and add an E for economical or economique. Economique. And there we have it. So now manual gearbox, of course, 4 gears. Nothing fancy here. It can go not really faster than 145, I would say. Spacing looks okay for now. We have to see about the fuel usage later on hard long life compound tires. We're gonna oh, the rims are too big. Way too big. 165 tires. Perhaps a bit of offset. It looks like they're a bit... Yeah, that looks better. Single valve. Ah, okay. That makes sense. 516. Now the brakes, rather comfortable. A bit bigger, of course, on the rear. Is 200. The car should not be heavy, even though it's made of steel, but give us something along 800 kilogram, not much more. We do not need that much cooling at all. Go about 80. That's fine. Now it will be a 4-seater. It will have standard interior. It will have not much insulation. Also basic entertainment. No power steering. No anti-lock braking system yet. That is for versions after that. Wait, what happened here? Looks like it is clipping from some angles. Oh. Need to fix that. Not see that before. Alright. Now we work here. Safety, also standard 70s. And 2+ quality. We're not joking when it comes to safety here at Garneau Automobile. Okay. Rather comfortable preset. Let's see where that gets us. 191, 92 should be okay. Now let's see. 6.5 liters economy. That would have been exceptional for 1976. No doubt it is economical. It's very tame, quite comfortable. Of course, prestige is not very high, but that's okay. So what we were aiming for. Safety is okay. And it is cheap. We would probably be able to sell this off for about $13,000 or $14,000 per car. Well, yeah. I mean, the calculations, of course, are based on modern calculations. If this had been the 1970s, then the total cost would have been maybe half of this, roundabout. So we would probably be able to go for under 10,000, like 8,000 something. Something. And the car is not very heavy. That is good. Economy. Well, maybe it could be improved even. I think if we raise the top speed to 150, we will find that economy improves. Yes, exactly like I predicted. And the prestige, of course, goes up a little bit. That looks fine. What do you guys say? If there's anybody left with all this Twitch trouble today. And yeah, I cannot open the viewers list as well. Yeah. That is Twitch on Saturdays. That's what happens. That's just what happens. Maybe we run it on the airfield track. Just for some sound simulation apart from my voice. Approaching Wankel. The brakes are screaming. Uncomfy. Well, dude, it's the 70s. I don't know if you've ever sit in a car from the 70s. They were not comfortable. Especially those economical cars that came after the oil crisis. I mean, a Golf 1 is everything but comfortable. Seriously, it's terrible to sit inside. Very terrible. fact, I think I could even make the spring stiffness harder, because that's what it was like, kind of was what it felt like. And then see. Ooh yeah, less comfortable even. Lovely. Question would be also, can I save money anywhere else? And also, does the spacing of the gears help me to lower the fuel usage? It does not. Even though it doesn't do any harm either. 18.7, I think for this size of car, it is kind of mediocre. I mean, it's not good. We don't have to discuss that, but it's enough. Because the only way I could now raise the comfort a lot would either be by giving more weight. Let's put it up to 40 perhaps and then see how much more comfort it gives. 19.5. But that's really all I'm gonna do, because everything else I could change right now would make the car a lot more expensive, and that's not what we want. Because we cannot. Because this car has to sell, and it has to sell in a number, given Garneau's capabilities, I dare say about 300,000 times minimum, rather 350,000 roundabout. So yeah, you know, just to be able to actually make profit with this kind of car. Actually, I totally forgot to put door handles on it. That is nice. That is very nice. I remember saying that there were door handles missing, but then I guess I just forgot about it. These look nice. Yeah, it is actually a two-door car, but it has 4 seats. You know, it's this classical thing. I remember that from my childhood, many cars that friends or relatives had, you had to open the door here, or maybe on the other side, and then flip the front chair, the driver's seat, over, and then climb into the back, where it usually smelled like cigarettes and old paper. In the best case, well, cigarettes, yeah, I mean, smoking was a thing back then. And I'm actually not a smoker, but perhaps I have been passively smoking so much in my early years that it counts almost as a few years of being a smoker. Now I wonder, did the adding of door handles increase the price of the car? No, it hasn't. Okay, that is good. We have a good utility with this car. 56, I think, is decent. The reliability is also very good. 66. It's not excellent, but it's okay. It's kind of normal. And the car is relatively safe. I could give one more on safety. Let's see what that will do. To put us past 20. Yeah, did. Without causing too much trouble for the price. What does it say here actually? Material cost 3,000, production units 103. Service costs are okay. I think that should work. With a bit more top speed. Yeah, 6.4. 6.4 liters. Oh, sorry, Leo. I am 31 years old. And economy has improved again, naturally. Wait, why has the tameness gone down? I only increased the top speed. and put the spacing back to 48, where it was before. That's weird. But okay. Stats. It has gotten slower. That's good. I want it to be slow. Okay. So this is the Garneau. Lily. Well, yeah, do I go for an I or do I go for a Y? Lily. I think Lily looks better. The Garneau Lily. Which I think we can... Yeah, let's do that. As the last step before completing the car, I am gonna put the name on here. It shouldn't take long anyway. Would you move over? Mr. L, hello. Would you be so kind as to move anywhere at all? Oh, damn. Not there. Go back. Please. Thank you. Please. Now we need an eye. Where's an eye? There's an eye. Oops. Wait, no. No. What am I doing? What I wanted to do? That looks terrible. It looks very crooked. It doesn't move anywhere. Not you. Other one. This one. Oh my god. Why you do this? Stop. Just give me the eye. Come on. No, not the L. Go away. There you go. Okay, this is really, really tricky. I cannot move it by some reason. But the L I can move, no problem. That is weird. Another L. Small other one, please. It looks smaller, but it, I don't know. Okay, let's go for the last one. It'll be here, Lily. The Lily. Lily. Ah, right, I forgot. Now. There we go. The Garneau Lily, the economical version for after the oil crisis. The year is 1976. And we have concluded this car. Which is why I'm going to save it now. That is the car number, let me think, we have the Amélie, and we had the Penelope, and we also had another one. What was the name? I guess it's time that we make a list very soon about with all the cars and what year they came out in and what their purpose was, or the target market, kind of. Anyhow, that concludes our Garneau building for tonight. I am sorry for the inconvenience with Twitch, but sadly there is not much we can do about that. We have to work with whatever Twitch gives us. But nonetheless, I thank Jacko for hosting us, like always. I thank Leonardo for sticking with us. Even though you couldn't watch the whole time, you could only listen. And thanks everyone who stopped by but couldn't really watch because the stream was bugging and lagging and stuff. We do come up with another stream next week. And during the week it is usually better because there's not as much traffic on Twitch as it is on the weekend. So that should be okay. Good. Guys, don't forget to follow and like us on Facebook. Remember that Automation Hub is in the beta status right now. So you should look out for updates on that one. And as soon as it is available to the public, we're going to inform you guys right away. So you can register and make an account and enjoy Automation Hub in all of its glory. If you haven't yet, follow us here on Twitch so you wouldn't miss the next stream, because that would be very terrible for all of us. And yeah, I say good fight and good night. And goodbye, Leonardo. I hope you have a pleasant weekend, and I hope to see you next week again. Thanks, everyone. Good night.